Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today is round number 2 of planting for the garden season, and today we're going to be planting the cabbage, cauliflower, not cabbage, we already did cabbage, broccoli and cauliflower, as well as lots of different kales and collard greens, and then we're also going to be doing tomatoes, of course, the main event. The planting mix that we're going to be using today is one that I made a recent video on. I will go ahead and link that one up there. And this one is 8 parts of peat moss, 1 part of vermiculite, and 1 part perlite with a little bit of lime thrown in. All right, so I'm going to be using the 128 cell trays, and these are not ideal necessarily for the tomatoes, but this is what I have available right now. I already have 4 of them being used right now for the last round where we did the peppers and the cabbage and some herbs and like fennel and stuff like that. I'll go ahead and link that video here if you're interested in that. It's a pretty good video. We're gonna go ahead, and the first thing that we have to do is make up tags for these. I have the tags here from last year that I saved, and these are all the ones that are applicable to what we're planting here. I have a bunch of tomato tags from last year and a bunch of like kale tags from last year. The rest of them are still outside, and they are frozen solid in the 72 cell trays that I could not get to use today because they're frozen solid with soil and water and all kinds of stuff, and they're pretty darn frozen out there. So I just let them be, and I'm gonna make new tags for those ones. But I wanted to give you guys a really good tip because I like to mark all of my seedlings, like pretty much down to every single one for the most part. I tag almost all of them. Unless I'm gonna do them in a row, then I'll mark the row, but generally it's every single one, especially tomatoes, peppers, kale, you know, bigger, more important stuff. I like to mark every single one, and that can get really, really tedious. And I know that a lot of people mark them with like Sharpies, and those work for a little while, but then they get worn off in the sun, and they certainly don't last very long. And you know, you can't really redo anything. Once you mark it on there, it's stuck until it fades off. And then you can also, there's pens, but those ones the same thing. You can use pencils I use pencils, but you can use, they make these little garden markers, and they're great and they would last longer, but I would imagine unless they're erasable, which I'm not sure about, it'd be really difficult to reuse your tags. And they're plastic. I like to reuse them because they're totally reusable. And what I like to do with them is pencils. For a while, I was just trying to sharpen and use like the regular, like the number 2 wooden pencils, and those work fine, but these particular type of tags wear down the lead in them very quickly, so you have to sharpen them a lot. So the thing that I found was mechanical pencils, and the ones that I was using last time were the number 5 mechanical pencils, and it's just too thin and it would break a lot. So I went out and just got this pack for like, you know, dirt cheap at Fred Meyer, and it's the 7mm, the 0.7mm ones, and these ones should last much better. And so I went ahead, I scrubbed all of these and kind of sorted through them. And so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sift through each one that we have available for the ones that we need, and we're gonna mark up the rest of the ones that we actually need for this. So before we get started, I wanna go ahead and invite you to subscribe to this channel down below. I think it's right about there. And go ahead and hit that button, subscribe if you're new around here. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy this video. Around here, we're doing lots of videos on food preservation. It's mostly fermenting, canning, freezing, dehydrating. And now that we're getting into gardening season, we'll be doing a lot more gardening videos as well as some chicken videos. And also to note here, I am certainly not an expert. If you want to watch my videos from last year, I will show you that I'm totally not an expert because like almost all my garden died, but I'm back at it and I'm going to figure it out this year. So I'm going to bring you guys along, show you all the lessons I've learned from last year, and I will show you all the lessons that I'm going to learn this year. And feel free, if you guys are expert gardeners or even just mildly somewhat great gardeners or good gardeners, make sure to let me know down below any tips or tricks that you might have down below in how to garden. I would love to hear from them. And I will make sure to feature them in upcoming videos as they pertain to what I'm actually planting. So I'm gonna bring you in, show you what we got, and then we're gonna plant them. The seeds that we are going to be planting today are the kales. We're gonna do 1 tray of kale and cauliflower, and we're gonna be doing a, what is this one? I don't know the brand. A Lake Valley Organics red Russian kale. This one seemed a lot more bushy than the other type, so I thought I'd give that one a try. Marrow stem kale, Delaware kale, seed savers, and then some Portuguese kale, no picture. Red Ursa kale, also no picture. This one is kind of like a red Russian. And we have Nero Toscana kale, red Russian kale. This is botanical interest, and this one is a little bit more like your typical red Russian. And then we have some blue curled Scotch kale. That's one of my husband's favorites. Scarlet kale, which I just got it because it's pretty and purple. Lacinato dinosaur kale. I know this is the same as the Toscana. What is it? The Nero Toscana, but I'm gonna see if they're different. And then we have solstice broccoli, no picture. Calabrese green sprouting broccoli, Romanesco, some dragon kale that my husband got from somebody at work, purple of Sicily cauliflower, and some snowball cauliflower. So we're going to be doing one row of each, so it's going to be 8 of these are going to be planted for those. And then we're getting into the tomatoes. And this one, I have it all mapped out. I'm going to be planting far more than I have the ability to plant. I'm going to be selling them and or possibly just throwing them in the ground somewhere. But I have room for about 96 tomato plants planted 2 feet apart. And last year we did them about 18 inches. It was too close. We had blight that came in and just completely devastated our whole crop. And it just jumped from plant to plant to plant. So we're going to put a little bit more space in it, pay a little more attention to it as well. But so we're going to be planting, we have paste tomatoes, sauce tomatoes. We're going to be planting 8 of each of those. And then we have slicers, a couple of plums, and some cherries, and those we're going to be doing 3 of each. And the extras I'm just going to try and sell on Facebook or Craigslist or something like that, and see if we can actually make back some money from all these seeds we bought. And you know, to help other people out when they just don't have the opportunity to start their own seeds. So we're going to be starting out with paste tomatoes. We have some Federale, blah, darn it, some Roma, Sheboygan, San Marzano, Lungo number 2. We have some Opalka tomatoes, some Amish paste, Martino Roma tomato, and we have some more sauce type tomatoes. We have Triple Crop, Quadro, Tiffin Mennonite, Oxheart, Marion, Mariglobe, Homestead tomato, Bonnie Best, Abe Lincoln, Black from Tula, Delicious, Old German, Chernobyl, what about Chernobyl? Japanese Black Trifle. Okay, so next we have more of the beefsteak slicer, kind of more fresh eating type of tomatoes. And these ones I wasn't planning on starting as many, but I think that people would probably enjoy these in like home gardens a little more than like a homestead style garden like I have. So I went ahead and decided to do a few extra just to have some to sell to other people. We have some Amana tomatoes, some beefsteak tomatoes, black crim, pork chop, Big Rainbow, Tomato Carbon, Black Sea Man, Brandywine, Brandywine Black, Brandywine Red, and Brandywine Yellow. And then we have Cherokee Purple, Mortgage Lifter. How can you have a slicer, a beefsteak without a mortgage lifter? Is beyond me. Paul Robeson, Wapsipicon Peach, I don't even know, Pineapple, Hillbilly, a Great White, a Berkeley Tie-Dye, Berkeley Tie-Dye Pink. I haven't tried this one. I really like the Berkeley Tie-Dye Green, but I have not yet bought the pink, so I'm pretty excited about that one. I just got that this year. Ukrainian Purple, Sun Globe. And these aren't necessarily all like beefsteak, but they're ones that are more just like sweeter and more for fresh eating. green zebra. And a lot of these have dual purpose, but I kind of just had to classify them as one. So chocolate stripes tomato and boxcar willy. And the more the plums type are, it's just a black plum. And then black vernissage. I don't have a clue how to pronounce that. And then we are into the cherry tomatoes. We're almost done. We got blue cream cherry berries, blue cream berries, yeah. And then blue gold berries. Sunrise bumblebee. Come on, focus. Pink bumblebee. Purple bumblebee. Sweetie tomato. Black cherry tomato. Gobstopper. Gold nugget. Isis candy cherry. Napa Chardonnay. This one is the one that just like, this is one of the very few ones in my garden that did really, really good. And I got absolutely the most out of that one. I like the taste, but I'm not in love with it. Principe Borscht, but I'm growing it again because it was so prolific last year. White cherry. Bosque blue bumblebee. And blueberries. And that's all we have. So I'm gonna bring you in, I'm gonna kind of show you, just kind of making up the tags and figuring out how to make sense of all of this. And then we're gonna get going on planting these and I'll show you what we end up with. Okay, so we got all of the tags made that we have tags for. We're gonna have to come through and finish up the rest. So some of these, it's just the rows that are gonna be actually marked, and some of them, every one is gonna be marked. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get started on these. And it really doesn't, these don't actually, now that I'm thinking about it, these don't come with a whole lot in them. So I might not have enough to do quite so many. No, I don't. We're gonna do as many as we can. So now we got all 3 of our flats planted, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we're gonna do next. And that is we just take this vermiculite and we just kind of cover the top. I don't know if you could see what I did before I did this, but basically with each thing, I just kind of put like, I just kind of poked a little divot basically in there, and then I planted the seed and kind of brushed some of the soil on top. That's all I do with that. I don't dig it in, I don't bury it, whatever the seed package says. All I do is just kind of cover it very slightly with the dirt. I found in the past that I've covered it too heavily and it's very difficult for the seeds to get out. So I just err on the side of caution and do it like this. And then we cover it with the vermiculite because number one, it helps to deter, I want to say they're called like fungus gnats or something like that, but anyways, little buggies that can disrupt and get into your soils. And then it also will deter like the moss or mold or whatever that forms on top. This will kind of stop that from happening. So the reason that I wanted to do all of these is because before I spray them, it sprays the stuff around it. So I just want to make sure that I get all my seeds out of the way before I spray them so that I don't spray the seeds. So next what we're going to do, we're just going to wet down the top of this, and we don't need to water it very deeply because the soil is already moistened. We're going to spray the top with this little spray bottle. It's got a little pump on it, and it's just fantastic. I love this thing. And then we're going to kind of lightly spray it until the vermiculite gets kind of wet, and then we'll go a little bit heavier with the spray. So that's all there is to it. I'm going to do the same thing with the other two flats, and then I'll show you where I put them so you can kind of get an idea. It's nothing special. It's literally just, right now it's the floor because everything, all the shelves are full. All right, so this is where we're stuck putting all of the stuff that we just planted today. It's just on the floor here. We have all of our other seeds are already up here. It's late at night, so all the lights are off. But these ones are all doing fantastic. We have lots of sprouts going on. Even the peppers are starting to sprout. And the onions are going crazy. I hope that you guys enjoyed coming along with me for the second planting of the 2021 garden season. And I just wanted to kind of show you what I got here. We got the tomatoes and some more of the cold weather crops. And like I said earlier, don't think I did say earlier, but anyways, coming up probably tomorrow, I'm going to kick out some of the older seeds that I've already planted, not the peppers, but the onions and some of the colder crop stuff that I had planted. I'm going to kick those out to the greenhouse and replace them with all of these. And then the tomatoes are probably going to stay inside for quite a while until it's really pretty warm outside, or warm enough to where like it's really just not going to freeze. Or until they get larger. We'll see how that happens. But anyways, that's totally beside the point. And these ones, the colder crop ones, like the broccoli and the kales and stuff, those will probably be outside just kind of shortly after they actually germinate. So I will bring you guys along for that. I was thinking about trying to do a bit more gardening this year, or not doing more gardening, showing you guys a little bit more about the gardening that I'm doing this year. If you guys are interested in that, let me know if you would like to see kind of progress videos and just various different things as I'm doing them in the garden, plantings, and just anything that I have time to film. Let me know down below if you guys would be interested in that, or if you guys would rather me just stick to more fermenting videos and things like that. I would love for your opinions and your feedback, so let me know. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please do give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. I hope that you guys are able to get lots of gardening stuff going on where you're at. If not, it is just around the corner. It'll come soon.